हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखम् तत्त्वं पूषन्नपावृण सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखम् तत्त्वं पूषन्नपावृण सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये. Now, this mantra starts the sixth wave. You can say the sixth topic. If you remember in the beginning of the text, we said the Upanishad has been categorized into 7 waves, isn't it? The 7 waves, which was classified by the great Aurobindo. So mantras 15 to 17 is the 6th wave, and these set of verses, mantras, are depicting the drama of realization. One of the most beautiful mantras. So here he says, the face of truth is covered by a golden disc. O sun, remove it. Apa Bruno, remove it, so that I may behold who is the nature of truth. Hiranmayena Patrena. Hiranmayena Patrena means the golden disc. Satyasya Mukham, the face of truth. Satyasya Mukham is the face of truth, is covered by Hiranmayena Patrena. O sun, Pushan. Pushan means the sun. Remove it. Apavrunu, that I may behold. Satya Dharmaya, the nature of truth. So the two beautiful words here is Satya Dharmaya, the nature of truth. Satyasya Mukham, the face of truth. Now you need interpretations for these two beautiful words. You'll get that as we go along. So the drama of realization, the depth of the ego is being dramatized here. The depth of ego is being dramatized here as the face of truth. And this mantra is being spoken by a very highly qualified student who is actually at the verge of realization. So he's actually dramatizing what that experience of realization is. So what is happening? Here is a seeker, an aspirant, who has done all what he could do humanly possible to reach that state, to reach that pinnacle of perfection. And having traversed that long and treacherous spiritual journey, it's not easy to march relentlessly to the state of realization. It's like you're scaling the Mount Everest. It's not easy to scale that mountain. So it is like a Herculean task to reach that state of realization. Having given up the entire terrestrial world, you aspire the truth, reach there. And having reached there, what's happening? The face of truth is covered by the golden disc, which means it is covered. He is not able to experience, he's not able to see realization. So having seen, you come all the way there, you've put in janmas, you've not just one janma, aneka janma, you've strived and struggled to want to experience the truth. Having come there, you deserve to see the truth. But what's happening? The truth is covered by the golden disc. Lakshmi Ma, when he reaches that point and he sees, it's like I'm just trying to, again, dramatize that experience. It's like, let's say you have all the way from Malaysia, you want to go and have darshan of Lord Balaji in Tirupati. And you said, I will not take the comfort of going by a bus or a cab. Once I reach the Tirupati, which is the foothills, and the Tirumala is beyond the 7 hills is the Lord. I'll climb. And you climb. It takes 5 hours, 6 hours. You climb and you go to have the darshan of the Lord, and the gates of the sanctum sanctorum are locked. You're allowed access into the temple. You've gone beyond the outer layer. You've gone into the inner chamber. And then just as you reach the sanctum sanctorum, you see the gate is locked. Or even to dramatize it further, the gate is open, but the curtains are closed. Now imagine yourself to be an Upanishadic student. What would you say? At least imagine, imagine ko onnu aagiliya. We can't hear you, Lakshmi ma. Yes, now.
I would say I have not done enough sadhanas, probably.
Ayyo. Adna, I knew this answer will come. That is why I'm saying, just for a moment, you got to, this is a drama. You will
say, oh God.
You got to act. No, don't. You're not acting. You're not put on the robe of an Upanishadic student. So you got to feel the pulse of what the text is trying to convey. And I've given you the role of an Upanishadic student. I've dramatized it. Marching towards the goal of realization is like you traveling all the way from Malaysia. You want to go and experience, have the darshan of the Lord. You have walked for 5 hours. You have granted into the temple. It's not that you're blocked at the main door. You have got access to the temple. You've passed to the chambers. You've come to the sanctum sanctorum. The main door is open, but the curtain is drawn. You don't have the darshan. This is the plight of the Upanishadic student.
I'll beg it to be removed.
That is where you are fundamentally wrong. What did you use the word? Don't change any word what you said. What did you say?
The word back is wrong, I guess.
Correct. You got me. There is no question of begging. There is no question. Gayatri ma, put the translation again.
Become it, right? You don't have to go there and see.
He has not yet become it. No, Amma, don't philosophize here. I'm only dramatizing the mantra also. The text also is trying to dramatize that experience of truth. Now read the mantra for me, please.
The face of truth is covered by a golden disk. O Son, remove it so that I may behold who is of the nature of truth.
Now, what is that term which conveys that stance of the student? He is saying, remove it. It is a stance of commandment. It is an order he is giving. I have done so much to come to this point. You fellow don't have any visitors coming here. The temple is deserted and I want to have darshan of the Lord and it's covered. I deserve to say it. Remove it. And this is the tone we got to relate to. Bhakti of prayer is not beggary. Today, the plight of a devotee is to beg at the feet of the Lord. It is not beggary. Here it is a commandment. A commandment because you have done sheer tapas. When a sadhak does tapas, from that tapas comes purity, comes moral strength. That sheer devotion you have, you take a commanding situation. So he's saying, I have done everything. But the face of truth is covered by the golden disc. Remove it. Because I am who? I am the nature of truth. Every word I'll explain. But the stance of the sadhak is what to be admired here. He's taking an authoritative stance. A stance when you have paid the price, when you actually deserve it. I deserve it, remove it. And there is not an air of vanity or ego when he says that, please. It is not arrogance. It is not ego. It is not vanity. It is sheer expression of tapas. Sheer tapas. When you do something, you deserve it. You earn that respect, isn't it? So you have that freedom and liberty, and he takes that. You got to feel that emotion of the student. There's nothing that is between him and the self. Now, what is it that is covering is the golden disc, isn't it? It is not a brass, it is not steel, it is golden. Now, what does the word golden mean? Now, the word gold has always meant something which has been exchanged for matter, isn't it? People have always used gold as investment. Why? Gold symbolizes material wealth, isn't it? So gold symbolizes matter. Now, the gold, it has got that golden color because it is covering the self. Matter has no golden nature. I'm going step by step. Gold means matter, something which is exchanged for worldly sense. But that matter, which is close to the face of truth, appears golden. Where does it get the golden texture? Where does it get the golden quality? Because of its, Amitama, I hope you all are understanding what I'm saying. Gold, first of all, symbolizes matter, right? Now, where does the matter get that golden trait from?
From the truth.
From the face of truth. A simple question now. What is the color of the sun? The light. Have you ever experienced it? If you look at the sun, what's the color you experience?
It's almost transparent, translucent. Would I be right to say that? The ring is golden, but the core seems colorless, almost like transparent, or
it seems so, but actually, don't we say a fiery red?
Red. Okay.
It's a red. And how do you experience that? You know, you just go into the sun, open, and look at the sun with your eyelids softly closed, not tight. Just close your eyes and look at the rays. Look at the sun. You'll actually can actually see the redness. You actually experience the redness. Just try it out.
Thanks, Guruji.
Arpiji, please go and do that right now. No, if I tell others, they will walk out of the class.
It's not possible to do it right now.
I know. That's the reason I asked you. Others, thank you very much, sir. I'll go for a walk. They'll just go for a walk and never come back. Therefore, I said, but tomorrow morning, please try it out and let me know what you see.
Sure.
But remove the specs, huh? Because then that will again add a conditioning element. We don't want all that. So the golden disc, RPG, golden represents matter. And the matter has got that golden color because of its closeness or proximity to the face of truth. It is that the sheer closeness, it has got that trait. Okay. You get it? Now, my question is, what is that last bit of matter which is close to the truth, yet it separates you from truth? Repeat the question.
It reminds, oh, sorry.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, so why does it have the golden color? Why does,
What is the matter which separates you from the truth? The last bit of matter which separates you from the truth.
it's that final desire to reach the truth. So it's that, reminds me of what's that other example we use? The pole vaulter he has the pole. And so this is in the same thing. It's that last desire, that last worldly or earthly thing that you have to let go of. But it's golden because it's that penultimate thing just before you cross the threshold to the self. But it's still
Absolutely
worldly
right.
because it's a desire. It's that last ephemeral, tangible, worldly thing. And so it has a certain luster that nothing else has.
Yes, in fact, it is a desire, but the desire is no ordinary desire, my dear. It is the desire that kept you going. It is a desire that liberated you from the thraldom of mundane transactions and mundane attachments. It is a desire that brought you to the verge of realization. Arunama, what is that desire?
Hari Om Guruji. Okay, I mean, what comes to my mind is the final thought, the desire for liberation. That, you know, and what comes to my mind at this point is a story of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He wanted to liberate himself, and he was always immersed in the worship of Kali. And this guru comes and finally, smashes the idol of Kali, and then he realizes, so that last thought is gone and he becomes one with the Brahman.
Yes, that example also highlights the context, what is being said. But what is that desire? The desire that kept you going, the desire that draws you to the goal is the mumukshatva. Mumukshatva is that yearning. It's just not a desire, please. It's that yearning, that throbbing, that urge to realize the truth. You're not interested in anything in the world, but you want to know the truth. And it is that desire to get to the truth has got you there. And the last thing that goes, the last bit of matter that separates you from the face of truth is the very desire for liberation. So the last bit of matter is the very desire to liberate. So you got to get rid of that very desire for liberation. What have I done? I have got rid of all my worldly desires. I am not interested in anything that the world has to offer. I have sought the truth. I sought the self. I've come to that point. But then having reached there, I'm almost helpless. I can't do much. Why am I helpless? Because That's what, can you answer that question? I have removed, Ramji, I have removed all my desires and thoughts and vasanas. But I am helpless to get rid of my last vasana. It's a very technical question, a very pertinent question. You've got to take a note of it. I've got rid of all my desires and vasanas, but I remain helpless at that last point to get rid of my desire for liberation. Why is the sadhak or the seeker helpless at that point?
Yes, Guruji. So I think, like we said, that it is the final act which is preventing. So I don't know whether there is any role that ego plays there, in the sense that is there still some ego left at that stage, or reaching that stage is not possible without giving up ego fully. So that means ego is no longer a factor, but it is just that final leaving the pole, as Arthurji said. So leaving that desire, peace, and then taking the jump, right?
I have got rid of all my desires. I've got rid of most of my attachments, all my attachments. I've put in so much effort, such genuine effort I've put in to reach this state. I removed all my desires, but then why can't I remove my last desire? Why am I helpless? Is the question. It's not that you have not, you're slogged like a bull or an ox. You've got rid of all the dirt. But that last little desire, I'm not able to do anything. It seems absurd, isn't it?
But Guruji, did we not? Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, quite early in this journey, what I picked up was that a selfless desire, and selfless desire is the only desire which is seeking self-realization. That is the only selfless desire you can have.
Yes.
And a selfless desire will take you to the ultimate goal. Although you did mention once that there is that last jump which has to be taken, and there you have to give up everything. But is having a selfless desire for self-realization, is it also something which will come in the way in the end?
Which is what it is.
Yeah.
The very desire which brought you to the point of realization is an obstacle which you got to get rid of, isn't it? Now we are saying the student is helpless. He can't do much to get rid of it. Therefore, he says, I am the nature of truth. I am surrendering to the nature of truth. That's what the word Satya Dharmaya. Satya Dharmaya means I am of the nature of truth. Who is of the nature of truth? So I am surrendering to nature. I am surrendering to providence because I can't do much. That is poetically, Arunama has referred to the Guru Totapure came and demolished the idol of goddess Kali while the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was meditating or in prayer because he was stuck to the idol. So the last thought he removed. One example. The second example is Dronacharya told Ekalavya to cut his thumb away and give. By cutting his thumb away, what Dronacharya gave Ekalavya was giving moksha. Second example. The third example is you take a coconut to a temple, you leave a small tuft. I have put so much effort to remove the entire coir. You think I can't remove the tuft? So sometimes coconuts fall in we have one single lone coconut tree and they keep blessing with coconuts once in a while. And then somebody has given me a small tool to remove. It is a very helpful, but believe me, you got to, even that, you put in so much effort to remove that coir, which is so tightly knit. And then standing instructions in the house, make sure you leave a tuft. I wonder, I have put so much effort to remove the coir. Can't I remove that small tuft? He said, no, without the tuft, there will be no offering to the Lord. So the tuft is required. So when you take a coconut to a temple, Kashish, have you ever done that?
I don't know. I've seen my parents do it, I think, Guruji.
Or at least you've seen them doing, no? You're
Yeah.
blessed. Yeah. But you can relate to what I'm saying, no? There is a small tuft.
Yeah.
So the tuft here symbolizes the last desire, which only the pujari in the temple, the priest, he alone is entitled to remove it, and he breaks the shell and offers the coconut as an offering to the Lord. Now, have you also seen certain priests? They have a small, they have shaven head, but they leave a small, what do you call that? Rajima? Emilia.
Tamil,
சொல்றீங்களா?
it's called kudmi, or in Hindi it's shendi.
इंग्लिश में बोलिए ना, इतना हिंदी आता नहीं हमें. Ram ji?
Tuft only.
Tuft only, correct. So they leave themselves a small tuft. So we are given 4 examples conveying that last. So however, the Ramakrishna example of the great Ramakrishna and the example of Ekalavya symbolizes the helplessness. The guru has to remove that. Now the question is, when I have put in so much effort, why does the student become helpless at that point? Any answers? I know we can interpret it as the grace of the guru required and things like that. Is all understood. We can say that way, but was not the grace of the guru there throughout? The grace of the guru and the benevolence and the providence has played its role right throughout. But there is a philosophical reason, there's a technical reason why you can't do anything. Now, you will answer this question, then you'll answer that. How have you got rid of your existing desire? How does one get rid of his existing desire? If you answer this question, you'll answer that. How does one get rid of his existing desire? Is the question. You have a desire. You understand, it's a nuisance. So I want to get rid of this. It's bothering me. Now the question is, how does one get rid of an existing desire? Harish.
Guruji, how do you get rid of existing desire is just fulfill it to the best of your capability and just move on. Don't linger after that.
Oh, when you do that, the desire drops off, is it?
I would.
Haven't you only temporarily satisfied it? Huh? How do you drop it is the question. I'm getting advice, drop it. How do you drop it? How do you get rid of it is a question. Very smart advice they thought they gave. But the question is, how do you drop it? Huh? How do you get rid of a desire?
That's well, that's the only.
That's a difficult part, is it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, Harish. Yes, Sidhuji, how does one get rid of a desire?
Attach to the higher, focus on the
You have to attach to the higher, the lower drops, isn't it? It's like when you are climbing a flight of stairs, you put your foot, one foot on the higher, you take your lower foot off, other foot off the lower step, isn't it? And then you take this step, this foot to the higher pedestal, you take this other foot off. Amitama, you're right. You focus on the higher. As you pick up the higher, the lower drops, isn't it? We say when the flower matures into a fruit, the petals of a flower automatically go off, they drop away. But you can't expedite the process by when the flower comes, keep plucking the petals, there is no fruit coming out of it. You got to allow that process to mature. So when you mature into a higher level, when you grow to a higher level, the lower drops. So to get rid of one thought, you had a higher thought, isn't it? You hold on to the higher thought, you get rid of the lower thought. You hold on to the higher bar, you get to the lower bar. That is a methodology. That's the principle you adopted to get rid of all your desires. Now come back to the question, why can't you get rid of the last thought? I'm helpless, I'm stuck. I'm surrendering to nature. RPG, you have not repainted your wall. You don't listen to me what I say. I have given you choice of two things. Either you repaint your wall or you change your color of your blessing. Look at the color of Hariji's blessing, his hand. Okay, too much distraction going on. Yes, get to the point.
So this process up until this point has been the shedding of worldly desires, taking up what are still worldly desires. So at this precipice, you need that ultimate faith, you need that ultimate guiding hand or light, because that last step is not worldly. It's not something that you're aware of. And so they're no.
Sir, worldly is in the beginning of your journey, sir. A spiritual seeker starts his journey by renouncing the world and picking up the higher. His journey starts with that. So right throughout the spiritual journey, he is renouncing all the name and fame and recognition coming in the spiritual field. All the joy. Go back to mantra 9 and mantra 12. 2 times he's saying, he has given up all the worldly joys. He has also renounced the pleasures and joys of the spiritual world. Then only you reach the goal. So you are disinterested in all that the spiritual path also has to offer to you. Why? This is just a path. The goal, the destination is realization. I want to get there. That clarity is there. You get it, sir? So it's not that right till there is world. No, the world has gone long ago. Your spiritual journey begins when your worldly pursuit ends. You can't say, I'm still pursuing the world while I'm seeking the self. Not possible. You are not spiritual. One is not spiritual. To seek the truth is not to seek the world. You must be disinterested in the world. We all are in a relative state in that. Some of us still have some interest in worldly activities. Not that you can't engage. You got to engage in the terrestrial realm, but only be interested in the transcendental. Remember, that was the quintessential statement when we explained mantra 11 last week. Your pursuit and sadhana is in the terrestrial, but your accent is on to reach the transcendental. Yogaratova, bhogaratova. We said that. I'm repeating what was said earlier. So you drop the world, then you embark on the spiritual journey. Spiritual journey begins when the worldly pursuit ends. And then comes the last obstacle of the between you and God is the very thought of realization. Are you okay, RPG? Right. Hariji?
Still there is a last traces of duality between my goal and myself. That is why I have to attain the goal. The goal is myself. And I will be merging with the goal. The moment that duality disappears, then I become the goal. There is no difference between me and my goal. That is the last trace. Till I have that traces of difference, I want to attain. That is my last desire. That is my last thought. So I have to reach the state of thoughtlessness.
Well said. But the question is, why is the seeker helpless with reference to the last thought? The thoughtlessness state is realization, but the seeker is helpless with reference to the last thought. So if you have noted what we have said, all your while you have been replacing the thought of the lower with the thought of the higher, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you come to that state, one stage short of realization, you are only left with one thought. The last thought, the last piece of matter, the last subtle matter is the very thought or desire to realize the self. There is no other thought to replace this thought. Therefore, you are helpless. Outstanding. Outstanding, this is. The seeker is helpless because there's nothing else he can do. I've been replacing the lower thought with the higher thought. And this higher thought also was replaced with something higher. So I kept replacing one with the other, one with the higher. I dropped the lower, I picked up the higher. I've dropped that higher with another higher thought. So it is always lower, higher, lower, higher. I've marched on. I've scaled the ladder, spiritual ladder, and come to this point. Now there is no other thought I can hold on to. If I hold on to the self, I already realized, no, I'm not realized yet. I'm still one step short. Now there's nothing else I can hold on to. There's no other thought. Therefore, I'm helpless. I just can't get rid of the lower. No, you can only get rid of the lower when you pick up something higher. That is the principle of getting rid of desires. Remember that. Now, when I am at the last desire, there is no other thought. There is no other desire I can hold on to. That makes me helpless. Therefore, he says, I am the nature of truth. So I am surrendering. I have done all that is needed. I deserve it. Remove the golden disc. So the very last desire almost disintegrates itself. You can't do much. You have to just wait there. Now the same symbolic, same concept is symbolized. In fact, is conveyed first in the very famous verse of the Gita, chapter 18, verse 66. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami masuchaha. I will give you moksha, masuchaha, don't worry. But what have you got to do for that? Sarva dharman parityajya. All your vasanas, all your attachments, all your dharmas and desires, you drop it for my sake, for realization, you do that. Then he says, I assure you, I'll give you moksha. This is exactly the symbolic representation behind the little Krishna who used to steal butter. Kashish, you know the stories of little Krishna stealing butter? You know that, no?
believe so, Guruji.
Believe so.
I remember parts of it, but I don't remember this like specific moments. I just know they used to hang
The
it
stories.
above the houses. Yeah, so he couldn't get to it.
Yeah. So the gopis, they used to milk the cows, set the curd, churn the curd, collect the cream, and they used to preserve in pots of water. Those days there were no refrigerators to preserve that cream. And Lord Krishna, with his friends, his mischievous self, he used to go and steal that butter. And they knew nobody else in that village would do that mischief except Krishna. And that act of Krishna stealing butter is exactly conveying this. I put in all that effort and he liberates me from the fruit of desire, the fruit of attachment. He takes it away. So Lord Krishna stealing butter conveys that the last thing that you get, he takes it away. That's what the bhajan also, which conveys this, isn't it? Bada chitta chor man mohan, mera chitta chor jagan mohan, Ayodhya ke Sitaram Vrindavan ke Radhe Shyam. Goes on, Ayodhya ke Sitaram Vrindavan ke Radhe Shyam, Bada Chitta Chor Manmohan. Bada Chitta Chor. He's a chor. He comes and steals. He takes it away. Exactly what the Guru is saying here. The seeker has reached that point where he has surrendered to nature because he remains helpless. So ego is completely emaciated. There is no further ego thereafter. It is the depth of ego. At this point, the ego dies because he says, I can't do anything. I've given up. The face of truth is covered by the golden disc. The face of truth is Brahman. Is covered by the disc. The disc is matter. It becomes golden because it's close to the goal or sun, which is the sun. Remove it. An order of commandment of a seeker having paid the price to deserve the fruit of his effort, which is realization. And he understands that he's helpless. So he says, I surrender because you are of the nature of truth. Who is of the nature of truth? You need a thorn to remove a thorn. There is no thorn to remove it. How do I remove it? You surrender to nature, it will come off by its own. Don't you say at times, when something is stuck, you can't remove it. It will come off. You can't do much. There's nothing to remove it with. That kind of a state of helplessness. But you put in enormous effort to reach that point. But having reached there, you say, I can't do much. Remember the equation, man minus desires equals God. So that this is the last element between you and God. And the last desire between you and God is a very desire to attain Godhood. And only when that last desire to attain Godhood goes, you attain realization. It's like, when you are so tired, you want to just do one thing but to sleep. But if the anxiety to sleep that keeps you awake, how do you get rid of the anxiety to sleep? Harish, any idea? You're very tired, a very long day, physically exhausted. but the anxiety to sleep keeps you awake. What do you do?
Guruji, I would just then at that point just not sleep.
Yes.
I would just not even think about sleep at that point.
But you have nothing else to do. You're exhausted. You just want to sleep. But you're not able to sleep. Why? The anxiety to sleep keeps you awake. The more you try to stop thinking, the more your mind is active. Isn't it?
Yes.
Have you not experienced that?
Yes.
And you would never, you've been watching the clock. Oh, it is 11:30, 11:45, 12:15, 12:30, 1:15. Oh my God, every 10 minutes you're opening eyes and seeing, trying to sleep, tossing on the bed, but you only see is the clock. And what you're conveniently doing is projected your timing over your, right over your pillow. So just open the eyes, you see the time. Projection clock. Mhm. It's not my experience, Harisha, so don't worry.
No, in the past, I mean, I know what you're saying, because in the past,
Yeah.
I mean, many years ago, I experienced on occasion this kind of anxiety, but that doesn't happen now. But at that point, also, I've come to a point I just don't even think about it. I just get up and continue my activity. I don't even try to sleep at that point, because I know
No,
it's not going to work.
you're changing the question itself. My question is, you're exhausted, nothing else to do. You want to sleep. What keeps you awake is the anxiety to sleep.
Yes, yes, yes.
Arunama, what do you do?
I think I would stop thinking about sleeping. Take away
Stop
my
thinking of
thought.
sleeping.
Yeah, take away my thought from about trying to sleep. So distract myself with other thoughts.
Then there's more trouble then.
Or personally, what I would do is chant some mantra, and I think then I would sleep.
Okay. Again, what you're trying to see, I'm trying to explain. What am I trying to explain with this example? There's nothing else to be done. Only thing you need to do is to sleep. And what keeps you awake is the very desire to sleep. That is exactly like the sadhak, the student has given up all worldly thoughts and is waiting to realize. The only thing that is keeping him away from realization is a desire to attain realization. Exactly the same parallel I'm saying. Just like the student at that stage is helpless, you and I are helpless. You do not know when you actually slept. You wouldn't know when you actually slept. When is that moment you actually slept? You would not. Till then you are tossing. But that moment of sleep, when the anxiety, as I say, the penny drops, at that moment when that anxiety stopped, that very next moment you slid into that state of dream or deep sleep. That moment you wouldn't know. When you get up also, you say, I really don't know when I actually slept. But having slept, I had a sound sleep. But I don't know when I actually slept. Till you didn't sleep, you would know. But when you slept, you wouldn't know. That is the state of helplessness. And I pray that none of us have that experience of feeling helplessness, not being able to sleep. I bless you all to have sound sleep. The moment your head hits the pillow, you should fall off to sleep. Because if you can't get sleep, something is seriously wrong with your state of mind. Because a disturbed mind cannot sleep. So take a particular note of this mantra. In fact, this whole Upanishad is something very extraordinary, but this mantra is very, very beautiful. Just to conclude the class, we'll just chant the mantra once again. Gayatri Ma, just have the verse for us. We'll chant once. Think over it. We'll come back with any clarifications if required. हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखम् तत्त्वं पूषन्न पावृण सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।